So I just want to make a quick little video on how I'll be getting rid of Plasti Dip on my taillights. Turn it into that. I did this about maybe a week ago. I used 600 grit sandpaper and wet sanded it with WD-40. And then after I got all the dip off, I wet sanded with 2000 grit sandpaper and then 4000 grit. And then after I sanded it and cleaned it off, I polished the taillights with this, and it turned out pretty good. A little bit of scuffing a tiny bit. When I do this time with this one, I'll spend a bit more time with the 4000 grit sandpaper. Now if you're planning on tinting your taillights with Plasti Dip, I would highly recommend you don't. It doesn't look very good, and over time it's like the dirt kind of sets into it. If you want to tint your taillights, I would recommend using VHD Nightshade, which is what I used for my truck. And it turned out a lot better than the Plasti Dip. So it's just a little dirty now. But yeah, this works way better than Plasti Dip. It's about 17 bucks a can. So yeah, I'll get started and I'll let you guys know how it goes. So I start off just by using a degreaser and just cleaning it off first. Just to kind of get all the outside stuff off of it. And then I use WD-40 just because I have it around. Some people say they use Goo Gone. I've seen a couple people to use like gas. When it's flammable, I think it kind of helps dissolve the dip over time. Now, the reason why I'm using sandpaper opposed to just kind of spraying it on and then rubbing it is that's going to take a lot of time. Whereas with the 600 grit sandpaper, you're kind of just scraping it off. You're not really doing much damage to the actual like taillight housing itself, the plastic part. And then when you use a higher grit sandpaper at the end, you kind of even everything out, and then you just buff it with a polish or whatever you have. I ended up getting a headlight restoration kit when I redid my headlights on my truck, so I kind of just have this stuff lying around. Right, so spray a little on the sandpaper, a little on the headlight, so it doesn't drip. You don't want to press too hard. Your main goal is just getting the dip off. But if you press too hard, you'll end up scratching the plastic taillight, and I think that's what happened on the other side. I pressed a little too hard and scuffed up a bit, but as you can see, it kind of just turns into like a paste. Does a really good job. It's a lot quicker too than just sitting there rubbing it.
That's what she said. Michael.
Alright, so I'll get all this dip off and then I'll come back when I'm gonna wet sand with the higher grit sandpaper. So yeah, there it is after you sand it with the 600 grit and the WD-40. A lot of it comes off. Now, just use another rag with some degreaser. Sorry, my video cut out there. That's what happens when you use the degreaser. Get all of it off of it before you wet sand it with the 2000 and then the 4000. It's pretty scuffed right now, but that's just from the 600 grit. A little hazy, but all that'll come out once you wet sand with the higher grit. So yeah, now I'm sanding with this 2000 grit sandpaper. The longer you sand, the better it'll be. The more you'll be able to get out the scuffs of the 600 grit. Even then, I can just... I don't even have to sand if I didn't want to. I could just go right to the polish, but... I don't know, if you're doing a job, you might as well just do it right. So it looks better. You'll be more happy with it. So yeah, I'll keep sanding this for a little while and then I'll come back. So yeah, I wet sanded for a couple minutes. Now I'm gonna go on to the 4000 grit. Let's clean off what I did here. Oh yeah, see, that looks a lot better. So now I'll go to this 4000 grit, and then sand for a couple minutes, and then I'll get back to you guys. Yeah, I've been sanding with the 4000 grit for a couple minutes now. Now I'm finished. Clean it off. Make sure you dry it really good too, because now we're going to put on the polish. Sorry for the camera work, it's hard to do this with one hand. Yeah. Looks really good for having no polish yet. Alright. Now you just polish it in there, buff it in good. Could add some more. You're not going to hurt it if you add too much polish. When you polish it, it seals it all up. Helps keep water out. Keeps it clear. Also fills in any fine scrapes you got from sanding, if you have any. I think this one will turn out a lot better than the right side. I spent a bit more time on this one than I did on that one. Yeah. Let that sit for a couple seconds before you buff it out. turned out really good. So I'm going to repeat the polishing step. So I polished it a second time, and it turned out really good. Not bad for just some supplies I had lying around. So yeah, hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below.